Hey everybody, it's Julianne from Cary Quilting. Happy New Year. I'm not sure anyone's ever been happier to say Happy New Year than we are for 2021. The shop is closed today, but I pre-recorded this because I wanted to share with you a challenge that my quilting bee did this year. Maybe give you and your quilting friends some ideas for a bee or a challenge you can do this year. We call this affectionately the Rip-Off Challenge. I believe it's also called Tear and Share. But a customer of ours, Doris, told me about it, and then we got our bee involved. So what we did was we decided that we would use half of the color wheel representing blue, green, and yellow, and everybody would buy 1 yard of solid fabric and not share the color or any of the information on what we bought with each other. Then we got together in a circle. There were 8 of us, and we pulled our fabric out of the bag. Everybody got to see what everyone's color was, and we ripped the fabric in half. So now I've got half a yard, and I passed half a yard to my right. The half a yard I received, I ripped in half, kept half, passed it to the right. The next one, ripped in half, kept half, passed it to the right. So at the very end of the challenge, the last piece I got was about probably 5 by 5 inches. So then the challenge was everybody in the group had 8 different fabrics, but different distributions of the same color. So I had a lot of green and blue and yellow in mine. Well, I guess everybody did, but I had more of some colors and other people had more of other colors. So then the challenge, and keep in mind, we did this in one of our bee members' houses in February of 2020 before anyone knew what was going on in 2020. And we think it's the last time we actually met in person for the whole year. So that made it even kind of more fun to call it a rip-off challenge. So after we all had our fabrics, we were allowed to add 1 or 2 more pieces and make whatever. So there were no rules, no size requirements, no nothing. And this is what my bee came up with. We do have one member who lives in Kentucky, and we don't have her piece represented here, but I will link to a little slideshow that I made that shares all of the information and all of the pictures of bees. So this one was done by Sandy Fitzpatrick. She's well known for her applique patterns, and she does a beautiful job. The thing that I love about hers is that the fabric she chose for one of her 2 extras actually is an ombre, and it changes from pink all the way through red, orange, and yellow. So she got the whole entire rainbow in her quilt just by adding this ombre piece. And obviously she added the white as well. But all the other colors in here you'll see represented in other quilts that are on the wall. This one is by Anne Young. She took a smaller approach. It looks like she added this orange, and I think this really dark blue is an addition too. This one, this teeny tiny one, is by Carol Franks, and she added this piece in the middle. And again, because we had no rules, you could make them tiny, you could make them big. This one here is mine. I added this background fabric by Zen Chic. It has a little bit of all the colors in it. And I believe that's the only fabric I added. And my backing, I actually used the leftovers from the pieces that I had. So this was the piece I had the most of, this light green here. And I ended up big stitch quilting all of mine, which took forever. So if you're going to do some big stitch quilting, you want to be sure that you get the density the way you like it before you realize how big your quilt is. On the bottom here, we have one by Lori Rice. She's our inventory manager here at the shop. She added in the gray and the red. And you'll see in her piece, she had a good amount of this turquoise color. I only had a very tiny, tiny bit of the turquoise color in my quilt, so I actually put it way up here. You'll just see little bits of it, and I used every bit I had, so that was my smallest piece. This is by Tina Schwager. She is a custom long arm quilter, which you can easily tell by this beautiful quilting work here on her quilt. And this quilt is a pattern by Victoria Finlay Wolf, and we do have some of her books and patterns available in the shop. And then down at the bottom here is Shirley Hendricks, and you may know Shirley because she works vendor shows with me. So when we have a booth at Sanford or when we have a booth at the Capital Quilters Guild show, Shirley is always by my side. And that's one that she made, adding in the purple. When I looked at Tina's, I said, no fair, you didn't use the blue, but she did. It's right here in the binding. So people chose really clever ways to incorporate the fabrics in their quilts. And when you back up and look at them all, they're all so different, but they all have a lot in common, which is really a great commentary on our bee. We're all very different, but we all have a lot in common. So this was a whole lot of fun to do. And if you have a bee or a group of quilting friends, this would be a great thing to challenge yourself with for 2021. I also just wanted to mention, now that we're here in our big meeting center, if you have a bee that has done a challenge, or if you are a quilter who wants to exhibit work, we do allow exhibitions on our walls. Right now, we're entirely empty, but you are welcome to exhibit your work, exhibit the work of your bee, anything that you have coming up. If you have things that you want to show us or ideas you want to share with us, we are happy to talk with you about sharing your work here on the Meeting Center walls. We usually take exhibitions for about a month at a time. So if you have anything you'd like to share, please let me know. I can easily be reached at julianne@caryquilting.com. I hope you guys have a great, great New Year's Day. Eat all the foods that bring luck and wealth and happiness. And we will talk to you here from the shop tomorrow. Thanks. Oh, not tomorrow. Tomorrow's Saturday. We'll see you on Monday, the 4th. Have a great weekend.